Hello folks, welcome back to the channel. It's all about racing. Glad to see you again. I want to let you know up front, this is a redo of a video I had done about a month ago. It was one of the first I did, and it was, quite frankly, it was rather poor. So I decided to redo it. This is a Porsche 997 GT3 RSR. Number 63 from Proton Competition. This is part of Spark's 24 Hours of Le Mans collection. Therefore, and unfortunately, this is not a limited edition car as cool as it is. It being a Spark model, it is mounted on a nice wooden base, as you can see here. It is a resin sealed model, which means it has no opening parts, but it is rather highly detailed. Now, this is an earlier Spark model, so it's not quite as detailed as some of the other models in my collection, but nevertheless, I think it is pretty cool. It comes with an acrylic jewel cover that you see back here in this 24 Hours of Le Mans box. Now, if you're familiar with the earlier Spark models, and this dating back to 2011, you do have the 24 Hours of Le Mans in French on the box. You also have the reflective background in and on the sides of it. You see that kind of silver look there? That is so that it really displays the car in a rather appealing way, is a good way of describing it. On the sides of the car, you have the 24 Hours of Le Mans. This would be an AM entry number 63 from Spark. And on the back of it, it has the look at the track back at the time when this car was manufactured and released for sale. Also on the bottom, you have all the legalese that you expect from one of these cars. So that being said, let's go ahead and take a look at the car itself now. This is an absolutely beautiful, I think a gorgeous model. I love the dark blue and the light blue, the way that it blends on this. And if you take a look at the side of the car, it is absolutely stunning. The wheels are gorgeously done in chrome, and I like a chrome wheel. You can see the rotors and the brake calipers very, very clearly on there. This being a Le Mans entry, it has the leader lights, right under the Felbermyer logo that you see right there. The interior of this car is absolutely gorgeous. And being an older Porsche, the window is clear, so you can actually see in there. And here you can clearly see the steering wheel. You can see the stick shift there. If you take a careful look, it's right in front of the fire extinguisher, the thing in the red that you see in the middle of it. And of course, you have the seat there as well. The cars didn't have nets like they do today back then, but that's okay because you get to see more of the interior of the car anyway. In the B pillar, you can see some of the framework and the other things in the back of the car. Again, really nicely done. The names of the drivers, clearly and beautifully done. And I'll tell you one thing about Spark, regardless of the age, the finish of the cars is great. I've had some questions, where some people have asked me, well, resin cars, do they warp? Are there any problems with them? This is a 13-year-old car, and it's absolutely fine. It's gorgeous, and I'd imagine it'll be probably gorgeous in 60 years from now. It might be broken. In fact, I did break this. I dropped it. I broke the antenna, and since I still have a little stub of one left, I haven't bothered to go ahead and make a new one. I can, and I have made new ones for other cars. But they're a pain in the butt, and this one's, it's clearly in there in a little spot, and I'm afraid if I pull it out, I might not be able to apply it as well. The rear wing also had to be redone as well, because in the earlier video that I made of this, I broke it, and there are some obvious things you can see that have happened to it. But nevertheless, the car is absolutely gorgeous. Take a look at the front of the car. Again, it is really nicely done. You can see the tow hook. A couple of the things that the earlier models do not do as well as they do now, and it might be a little bit hard to see from here, but that black grille in the front is not an inlaid grille. It's just painted. So, they didn't go to the extent that they normally do in their other cars. Headlight detail is a little bit weak, too, for this car. And the other drawback that I clearly see with it, and there's a better look at the grille right there. You can see it. I mean, nicely done, but it is painted. It's not mesh grills like you see typically with these. As you take a look at the fuel input, it's rather crappily done. They could have done a better job with that than they did, quite frankly. Also, on the top of the hood, on the windshield, you don't have the emergency pull tabs you typically see on most of the Spark cars today. Another small detail that Spark has left off of this particular car. Not that it takes away from it terribly, but it's just one of those little things that you kind of expect. And tow hooks you get, and you should with all Spark cars. You can see the dive planes they have on the front of the car there. There are two of them. They are nicely done in carbon fiber. Nice little touch from the folks at Spark. Windshield wiper looks good. I mean, again, the finish is absolutely great. On this side, you have the names of the driver. You've got Herman Felbermyer Jr., Herman Felbermyer Sr., and Chris Reed. The three amateur drivers that drove this car and still drive it to this day. Felbermyer still competes, just in a more modern Porsche than the one that you see here. This is kind of like a little blast from the past. I personally really like it. I think it's a damn good looking car. We'll take a little closer look inside, and there you can see some of the things. And if I pull back, you can maybe see that stick shift. The stick shift is really long and tall. It's really pretty cool. Trying to see if there are good angles that display a little bit better. It's kind of hard to see, but anyhow, you can see some of the interior details of the car. And I'll tell you, because these windows are clear, I mean, it's really nice looking inside. It is absolutely gorgeous, the work that they do. The attention to detail is just phenomenal. And because this thing has a stick shift, I guarantee you that if I pulled this car apart, which I could do because I've already broken it, I guarantee you I would find 3 pedals under the dash, because I have pulled an IXO car apart. Actually, it was an IXO car with a manual gear, and I found the pedals in there. And I doubt Spark would let themselves be outdone by IXO. Oh, there you go. There you can see that big old stick shift right there. As I pull it back, you see that big tall black stick shift in there. It is huge. And there's a good look at some of the interior details again from the side of the car. And we'll pull it back around to this side. And you can see some of the neat details of framework and everything else that you see there in the back of it. I mean, they do a really nice job. I like the fried speed, or the fried sped that you have on that rear wing. And you can see it's somewhat twisted because it didn't apply as well as I would like. But I got it functional, so I'm not going to beat myself up on it too much after having practically destroyed the damn thing dropping it. Taillights are rather huge by today's Porsche standards, but I think they're kind of cool for a car dating back 2011. I love the muffler and the tailpipes and the bright chrome that you see there. A neat touch. And note that there's no rear diffuser on this car. They just didn't have them back in the era of 2011, which was what, 13 years ago? 10 years ago. No. Gotta get my math straight here. Anyhow, that is a look at the back of the car. Now another guy. It's just really nicely done. And folks, I can tell you, they still have these cars available on eBay. Felbermyer, they must have they must have 5 or 6 or 7 different Felber model Porsches over the years. This is the oldest one that I am aware of that I have seen currently available on eBay. I knew they do have others, some somewhat newer. So if you want a Porsche RSR, the Felbermeyers are a Porsche customer team. They are not a factory team. This is an amateur entry. And they have been racing in the American Le Mans, the European Le Mans series for quite a few years, and consequently get automatic bids into the 24 hours of Le Mans. Anyhow, hope you've enjoyed this video. Take care. Thanks for watching.